Oh, it says an error occurred. Let me try once again. You're live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Factors Live. We'll just give it like a minute or so for people to kind of trickle in, and then we'll get started. So please give us like a minute. Just give it another 10-15 seconds, and then we should be good to go. All right. Let's get started. Hi, everyone. This is Praveen from Factors.ai. I'm very excited to have Kamal today on this LinkedIn Live with us. I'll just do a quick introduction about myself and then hand it over to Kamal as well. I'm one of the founders of Factors.ai, and I take care of the core product, customer success, and marketing functions at Factors. About Factors, we are a 4-year-old company in the account intelligence and analytics space. Essentially, we help you run better campaigns on Google and LinkedIn by bringing together all of your account data, segmenting those accounts, and then creating high-quality audiences. And we help you measure the performance of your campaigns as well, end to end, right? We currently work with over 300 customers globally in the SaaS and business services segment. As I said, I'm very excited to have Kamal today here. He's joining us from Barcelona, one of my favorite cities. Kamal, over to you for a quick introduction before we get started.
Yes. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me today, Praveen. That's my pleasure to be here today with you and sharing my knowledge with all of us. So yes, I'm based in Barcelona. I'm French, but I moved in Barcelona like 15 years ago. And yes, we are an agency, GetUpLead. I'm the co-founder and the CEO of GetUpLead Agency. It's a B2B SaaS PPC agency. We are very specialized for SaaS businesses, and we only work with the field of software and technological company. So that's something that we do since 10 years now, and we only do LinkedIn ads, Google ads, also Bing for paid search, Bing ads, and Reddit ads. So we're very focused on paid search and social ads.
Got it. Kamal, just to kind of, just so that the audience has some context on your customer base, is it largely earlier stage SaaS companies, mid stage SaaS companies, late stage SaaS companies? Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, good question. We don't work a lot for early stage startup because they don't have the budget and also the product market fit. Most of the time, these companies are looking for go-to-market strategy involving sales and outbound before to do some paid marketing strategy, some paid activities because they don't have the budget, and first they prioritize also looking for product market fit with outbound. So normally we don't have a lot of early stage startup. We work more for a medium size and enterprise business, and they're also more comfortable with the budget. Doesn't mean that you can start to do some LinkedIn ads or Google ads with a small budget. Of course, you can do that, but that's the people that are contacting us, and also because they don't have the priority. Small companies prefer to do other activities internally than doing some paid ads.
Got it. Understood. So you avoid early stage startups, but slightly more mature companies who are looking to kind of expand on their paid marketing efforts, right? And you mentioned Google, LinkedIn, Bing are the main channels that you work with.
Yes, that's interesting because when we started, we did a lot of Google Ads, and 2, 3 years ago, people asked more for LinkedIn ads because they have seen the value, and also, like everybody here, I think that everyone see that. You can reach everyone on all the kind of professional on LinkedIn, and I mean that's the new Facebook. It's professional, but everyone is spending more time on LinkedIn sometimes than Instagram or Facebook. So we have seen the switch. Yeah, 3 years ago, 2, 3 years ago, that people company were asking us, oh, we want to do some LinkedIn ads, and they didn't want to focus anymore on paid search. So that's something that is interesting to see the trend. And now we do both, but also something that is a new trend since, like, I would say 1 year. It's Reddit ads because for SEO organically, there is a lot of results now that are coming up in the Google search page results. So there is a lot of visibility on Reddit, and people think that Reddit is only for B2C, but not at all. For example, we have clients in the cybersecurity sector that have all their audience very active on Reddit. So for this kind of tech companies with targeting an audience that is like, for example, DevOps, security information, everything related to security, cybersecurity, tech. There is some niches like that all their audience are very, very active on Reddit. So there is something that's starting also to be interesting to see, that people are asking us to do some Reddit ads, and it's very cheap also. That's not the topic of today to talk about Reddit, but it's interesting for people that want to explore this possibility. That it's a kind of new channel, and it's also more or less cheaper than LinkedIn, but that's not the same way of working and targeting.
Yeah, very interesting that Reddit. I did see that on organic results. Obviously, Reddit has gone up quite a bit, and hence I agree that it makes sense to look at it from a paid ads perspective as well. But as you said, today's focus for us is LinkedIn ads and some of the challenges that advertisers face when they are starting out on LinkedIn, right? So without any further delay, let's quickly get into into LinkedIn. So the first topic that Kamal, I thought we could discuss was essentially what I have seen with most of the customers that we work with is that they typically kind of start with Google search and they scale their spends to a certain level. So they are doing demand capture in terms of existing, keyword volume on search. And then once they max out on that, that is when they kind of decide, realize that they need to have a strategy beyond search because there is only so much search volume at any point in time. And that is when they start looking at LinkedIn as a channel. Obviously, it is a very powerful network in terms of you can reach any business to business user or practically anyone because of their very large sort of user base. With proper targeting around job titles, company firmographics, etc. Right? But when they start out, one of the challenges with LinkedIn is that there is always this trade-off between how broad do you want to kind of go, or how versus what would be the cost, right? So there are some cost implications to having a larger audience. From what I understand, your CPMs generally tend to be lower if you're targeting like a broader audience. But at the same time, you really want to be very specific in terms of your targeting because LinkedIn is not a very high intent channel, right? So how do you actually advise your clients? What have you seen as the main trade-offs when it comes to setting up a campaign on LinkedIn from a targeting perspective? Like How should people think about this?
Yes, that's a really good question, right? Because I would say that's a $1 million question. The right audience size. That's the first step when you start, and everyone want to know what is the ideal audience size. There is no ideal audience size because depending on what your total addressable market and also what kind of audience are you targeting, because it can be totally random from a company to another one. But if I can give you some pointers here. First of all, never follow LinkedIn audience size advice. It's too broad. So what I see, most of the time that I'm doing an audit account, and when we are doing an onboarding with a client and they already did some campaign in the past, we have seen that they follow the LinkedIn advice. So LinkedIn advice it's really a broad audience that is not making any sense. I don't remember what is the number, but I think it can be until 200,000 or more. That's too broad. So for seeing a benchmark, I think that a good audience should be between maybe 20,000 and 100,000 maximum. If you go very broad, 200,000, and sometimes I see 300, 500,000 or more. I mean, you don't have 500,000 people that are possibly potential clients. Your ideal customer profile is not 500,000 people. When you think about that, that's logic. You won't have to target all these people because you are targeting people that won't ever be interested or are not in the key decisioner process of building your if we talk about B2B, LinkedIn ads, the audience will probably be more lower than 200,000 or 300 or 500,000. So never follow LinkedIn audience size advice. It's very broad, it's too generic. And also, when you mentioned it before, Praveen, that the CPM is lower. Of course, because when you target a very broad audience, LinkedIn ads tend to show you ads to the segments that are less competitive and have lower engagement. The broader your audience is, the less relevant your audience will be, and the more you will have, I can say, this like tourist people that won't never be interested in your in your product, but are in your segmentation. Because if you have 200,000 people, you have a lot of people that are here that are random in your audience and will never convert. And the more people you have, also the more segments that are less competitive and have lower engagement, LinkedIn will show to them your ads. So that's something that it's very important to understand that that also not the opposite. You don't have to reduce so much the audience to get something that is okay. I just want to target the CFO with the job title and for this kind of sector, and I will do all this exclusion, and you will end up with something like maybe 5,000 people. That's probably a better one than doing broad audience size. But in the same times, people who do that, who do the opposite, that they are too narrow with their audience, they forget that maybe there are people that are going to use the product, that not the people that are going to buy this product. So, for example, I would say that, okay, we want to target CEO because there are people that going to spend on our product, that going to buy this product for an enterprise company. But in an enterprise company or in a big corporation, you have a lot of people that are involved in the use of not only the stakeholders that going to have an impact using your product, but also the end user, people that are going to use. Maybe it's a senior, maybe it's a manager, and it's probably not the CFO or the CMO or the CEO of the company. So these people also have an influence, have an impact on the budgeting process. So you don't have to be too narrow, because you will miss the end user, the people that are gonna use the product, and that gonna be they're gonna say to their supervisor, okay, I've seen this product, I want to use the product because it will be easier for us to do this X, Y, Zeta task. That's the one that want to use the product and gonna push to the stakeholders, to the hierarchy, to the key decisioner for the building process to buy your product, because they have to use it, because there are some problems, challenges doing things without these tools. So you have to consider them. And on the other way, you don't have also to be too broad, because you will have, for example, entry, junior, or people that are not at all relevant for your audience. And LinkedIn will show your ad first to this audience, because they are the cheaper one. It's like a hierarchy. The cheaper one are the one that you're gonna have the most visibility and reach to them in your audience segmentation, because LinkedIn don't gonna want to show you to the best segment that are people that are located and that are very competitive, that people are doing ads for them in a very aggressive way. LinkedIn gonna show you ads if you have a broad audience first to these people that nobody wants to do some advertising for them. So that's something that you have to consider.
Yeah, I have a few clients actually who have audience sizes of like 3,000 people, and the challenge here is it's so hard to even spend money on such a small audience, because you, as you said, right, you almost, there are multiple advertisers who are targeting those same 3,000, 4,000 people, and it's very hard to kind of be top of the feed. Most likely you'll be placed 3 or 4 ads below the fold, right? Or your CPMs are like really, really high if you have to really reach that audience in terms of being the first in the feed itself, right? So but the challenge that I hear from my clients is that they typically tend to focus on these narrow audiences, because at least they feel confident that, okay, it's reaching the right sort of executives or the right ICP, because subsequently, whether the conversions happen or not, at least from an awareness perspective, they feel confident that they're spending on the right accounts, right? So like you said, I typically suggest that at least around 10,000 users you should be able to target in a campaign. Depending on what kind of application you have. Almost all applications you should have at least like 10,000 users. Otherwise you have a TAM problem, like your audience size is too small for that application, right? So, but yeah, this is one challenge that I keep seeing people move from. Like, either they go very broad and then the campaign doesn't really perform, the CPMs are lower but the campaign doesn't perform, or they go really narrow and then the CPMs are very high, and then afterwards they're like, oh, it's like a very expensive sort of channel, right? So finding that middle ground is something that is important to make the channel work. Were you about to add something, Kamal?
Yes, that's really interesting what you're mentioning, because of course, if your audience is 5,000 people, LinkedIn members, you have to focus on that and stick on that. You don't have to try to broaden your audience because it's smaller. But as you mentioned it, Praveen, there is a challenge, because the audience is so small that you will have to maybe refresh with the frequency your ads much more. So what I do in general with small audience, there is things that you can that can help is, for example, trying to rotate ads evenly until instead of optimize the ads or etc. like that. Of course, they will see, especially if you are in the brand awareness, demand gen, and also it can be good for retargeting, because like that they can see different kind of ads that are with different format and different variation of your ads, and so that's good. You don't gonna reach this banner fatigue level and also this saturation of your user, because the lower is your audience size, the more they will see your ads. So the more you will have probably to put more different kind of ad format, more different kind of message and angle, and different of different objective, different format, and you can try all these different things for the same audience. Like that, they don't see always the same thing every day.
Yeah, I'm really sorry. There was a power issue at my place. I hope I'm visible now.
No problem. Now we see you.
Yeah. So Kamal, continuing on the targeting angle. So two other problems that I keep hearing from advertisers is that when they upload, let's say, a list of companies, or let me start with the first one, which is when they're trying to do native targeting and applying some filters on company industry on LinkedIn, right? One of the challenges they face is that the industry classification on LinkedIn is generally not the way they think about these industries, right? For example, SaaS is not really like a well understood industry terminology, right? Or within SaaS, for example, if you want to target HR tech companies, let's take an example, right? Or for example, would a Spotify be a technology company or not a technology company, right? So do you encounter these scenarios in terms of industry classification related challenges?
Yes, that's a really good question that you mentioned that, because it's something that we see all the time. We see all the time because one thing that you have to think when someone is creating a company, the last thing that the business owner have to think about is to put the right industry when they set up their company page, their LinkedIn company page. They put something random normally because they don't have to do this, or probably that's the intern who are doing that, or the marketer in the company when they start. So, and after that, nobody look on this, and they won't change that in years. And maybe now they are like a big company of 10,000 people, but they have the same company industry that they have set up when they started. So, as you mentioned it, there is something like, for example, for SaaS. It's also those are problems that LinkedIn is not very accurate. They don't have all the classification for the kind of industry. So you're ending up when you do a campaign, if you target a very specific sector, it could be misleading you, because you think that you are targeting only the company of this sector, but that's not true, because more company have the wrong sector, the wrong classification, and also LinkedIn is not really accurate with that. And also there are also sub-industries that are belonging to other industry tags. So the same company can belong to different industries. And you mentioned the SaaS, but also working with a lot of different industry. We have seen that with other kind of in manufacturing, for example. We have worked for SaaS that are labeled as manufacturer, but are software because they provide a solution for example, for the automotive. They are in the automotive classification for. So what I advise here, Praveen, something that is really interesting to do is when you start always a campaign, check all the or like a sample of 10 or 20 of the people that you want to target. What are their classification with the company industry? You go to their company page and you see what they have. And like that, maybe you have an idea, because maybe you can see from 10, there are 7 that have this industry tag, and that is not the one that you were thinking when you started. So it can be something also interesting to find other industry that they belong to that you didn't think about. So always check a sample. It's like the same when you do not just creation. When you want to target some people, always check a sample of 10 or 20 people that are your ideal customer profile, and you will get maybe skills that you weren't seeking in first instance, or group they belong to, or they function, and also the industry. The same for the company. So if you check the company page, you will see that maybe there is some industry that you weren't thinking about when you started, but now you have a better understanding when you do this kind of work.
Got it. Yeah, typically I also advise my clients to actually not use less of the native company targeting options, but move more towards building the list using some other sort of database, and then uploading the list of companies into LinkedIn and using like an audience list, because otherwise the industry classification seems like very, very broad, right? Now, moving on from the targeting sort of aspect of LinkedIn, right? So the second aspect is obviously, let's say that you've got the targeting right? You've got exactly the right targeting for your campaign. It's around 10,000 to 20,000 people. So it's neither too small nor too large. Now, the second thing is obviously what offer do you make to that audience, right? And how do you structure that offer in terms of somebody who doesn't know anything about you, what kind of ads should you show to them, vis-a-vis somebody who knows a lot about you, who's aware about you, who's maybe attended a webinar before? What kind of ads should you show to them, right? And what kind of content offer should you make, right? Now, how do you advise your clients in terms of what content strategy works for each stage of the buyer, right? And what has worked best for you across the clients that you work with right now?
Yes, good question. Normally, yes, for us, the most important thing is to be specific at each stage that we are focusing, and address question and pain points that your audience have. That's the most important thing. If you talk about something that there are not that can rely, it's useless. So be specific and address questions and pain points to your audience that they can rely on that. So I think that the most important thing is to, when you do LinkedIn ads, it's not like paid search. So you are doing social ads, and here that's the best place to do trust, social proof, and authority, to show that you are a brand with authority, that you are the one that can handle the solution for the problem that you have, and that the most legit of all your competitors doing that. So it's all about doing some trust, social proof, and authority more than trying to capture the demand. So that's my philosophy with LinkedIn ads. And the content that does it better for that, thought leader ads. I think that you can show that you are an expert in an organic way. And it's also social proof. If the engagement is good with the post, it's also something that can show social proof to your user. Case studies, I think that's something that is also very important. Nothing but trust better than showcasing someone else who trusts you. And also, you talk about your product and with apps, and testimonials. Same as case studies, but with a more human touch. So I think that thought leadership ads, case studies, and testimonials are really good in the middle of the funnel stage. So when someone know you already, they have seen about your brand. So talking about this stage, everything that show authority, social proof, and trust, I would say that. In the top of the funnel stage, when people don't know you, brand awareness and demand gen, here you have to be educational, of course. So I think really about two things: video ads, product focus, 30 seconds or maybe 1 minute to show what you can do for them, to show what are how do you resolve a pain point of your customer. So video ads are great because also you can creating a retargeting audience faster than with an image. So in the fastest and the cheapest way to the retargeting audience is with video ads. So video ad format. So here you can test the company objective, brand awareness or engagement, have better results with brand awareness. But anyway, you have to test that. But here what you want to do is that to have people that are getting the first interaction with your brand, and so video ads work great for that. You can do retargeting audience. And the second thing is that doing some single images ads, but with of course educational content. What is it? I mean no gated content, so article, blog post, academy zone, whatever you want to call that, but things that gonna educate your audience and show them that in a very soft way that you are an expert in that, but more for the company. It's a company level, the top of the funnel stage. Here they do the brand level, but when you go deeper in the funnel and when you are in the middle of the funnel, it's more about showing authority about people, like the CEO, like the employees with thought leader ads, testimonial. You involve some of your clients. It's more on an individual level. here. That's something that I do generally, is to, for my client to understand this buyer journey. Brand awareness is more on a company level. The first interaction, the first contact with your company. And middle of the funnel, it's more on an individual level. Thought leadership ads with some employees, CEO, etc. Case studies with some clients involved. Testimonial also with some of your clients. So you are deeper in the relationship with them. And retargeting can be a mix of middle of the funnel, but also you will go for, of course, the conversion here. So you will focus more on the conversion. Conversion doesn't mean that, okay, it's book a demo, because everyone is always thinking about retargeting and bottom of funnel with do a demo, please. It's like you push someone, you insist for a demo, but sometimes it doesn't work like that. You have also to give trust here at this stage. So you can also do, like, for example, a buyer's guide when you are doing some comparison for your client with all the solution, with like competitors. Or buyer's guide also can be how to choose the best tool depending on your needs, because when you targeting some people that are enterprise and with C-level management, they will focus maybe more on a custom product, and they have to do a lot of research, because they not only sensitive to the price, they are also sensitive to what you can do for them specifically for this kind of needs that they have. So a buyer's guide can be something that can also help a lot in retargeting at the bottom of the funnel stage. Of course, interactive demo that are recorded are also something that can be interesting. When you see that book a demo is not something that is working really well, you can test also interactive demo. It's not always working better than other that the traditional book a demo, but it can also help. But yes, and of course, again, testimonial, maybe some case studies, thought leadership ads, but you have to mix all different format, and here you have to put to rotate all your ads evenly. You don't want to, you're not looking for clicks here. You are looking more for people that see what you can do for them, and in different ways, and not only looking for the conversion. You're gonna focus more on the conversion when you go lower in the funnel than when you are up in the funnel with the demand gen and awareness. But also, it's not something that is bad to just say, okay, maybe people won't do a demo from LinkedIn ads, but they are being impacted by our ads, and maybe they will do that with on another channel. So sometimes it's not only about doing clicks and conversion, even if you are in the bottom of the funnel stage.
Got it. So if I have to just recap that, Kamil, because I think you laid out a full strategy over there. So top of the funnel, you're saying the focus should be on the company brand and building the company brand awareness. And you're saying video ads work very well for that, both because obviously you can communicate a lot with the video. So you can talk about what are the sort of challenges that your product can help a customer kind of solve, or what is a transformation that we can help them achieve. That would be one aspect. You can also do some single image ads, but directed towards ungated content on the website, which again positions the company as an expert or a forward-looking company in that space. So focus the top of the funnel on video ads, ungated, single image ads, single image ads to ungated sort of blogs, which will help people build that awareness of your brand. At the second level, you're saying shift from building the company brand to making the personal brands more visible. So thought leader ads from the CXOs of the company, which again talk about the industry and the segment and the product. How do you actually kind of amplify that? And also bring in customers at this point to testimonial ads, review ads, etc., and then case studies as well, right? So, and again here, do you recommend again a video format for some of this, like case studies, or have you tried document ads for case studies?
Yes, I've seen that, but I always have more results doing single images for case studies than video.
Okay.
Video, people don't click on video on LinkedIn. They see the video. So that's not something that I would say, okay, you don't have to do video because people don't click. No, but it's another format that I would prioritize for building a retargeting audience. So it can be also in the middle of the funnel stage. But yes, video, you can do that for case study, but I have better result case study with single images.
Got it. Understood. So that was the middle of the funnel, focusing on the key personal profiles, customers, building that trust. And then on the bottom of the funnel, what you mentioned was obviously you will do some conversion related ads in terms of saying, are you interested in a demo of the software? But what you suggested is don't restrict yourself to only that. Bring in a mixture of buyer's guides. How do you actually a checklist for the kind of things that you should look at if you're planning to buy a software in this category, other sort of material which will help the buyer make a decision irrespective of whether they go with your software or not. That would be another sort of, because at least it will be helpful for that buyer, and obviously if they consume a lot of helpful content from you, then they will have a preference for you, or you'll at least be in the candidate set when they are evaluating for potential vendors, right? Interesting. So yeah, I think the structure really kind of makes sense. In terms of thought leader ads, right? When you would you recommend that these should be very product specific, like, or what is like if you had to give like a cheat sheet or a template for what kind of thought leader ads have worked well, the content within thought leader ads, what have you seen?
Oh, they don't have to be product specific. I've seen a lot of thought leader ads. The good thing is that the content can be very, very, I would say, different, because we have tested thought leader ads with, for example, some implementation of new features or integration. That's a good way also to say, for example, oh, we have this new feature, and people will be curious to know, okay, they will see that. I would say something that can be interesting also for us to know that you have this feature that can be helpful for them. So, for example, you have a new feature on your company and the CEO wants to communicate about that. That can be something that is great because you can capture a lot of attention on people that are this need and show that you are building something that is really good. Another thing is that also personal stories can be interesting, that you do the switch between the personal story and something related to what you do. So also people like that, showing your authority about your specific field. Like, for example, if I would do thought leader ads, I would talk about, for example, the mistake about doing a LinkedIn nurture site, something like that. I'm not gonna talk about what are the PPC strategy that you have to do, but maybe talking about showing my authorities, talking about what I will advise you to not to do, or that these kind of things. It's a difference, subtle difference between doing like, okay, I'm the expert on that, and on showing your expertise in a not direct way. So totally, there is a lot of things that you can do, not talking about specifically your product, but talking about other things. I would recommend to do thought leader ads when you see that, for example, one of your organic posts, what you have to do first is to post, to publish some posts and to create some content, on LinkedIn. So maybe once a week, twice a week, or maybe more, but what you have to is to test how we're going to react to your audience. And when you see, for example, that you have a post that organically is doing well with a lot of engagement, you can use this post for thought leader ads. And so you will have probably a really good engagement also using LinkedIn ads for this post. If you see that organically it was working quite well, it was performing well, you can use it also for thought leader ads, and you will probably have a good engagement. So that's something that I would recommend. And also another way is testimonial, so that you can use client of you that are talking about your product. So it's like a kind of UGC that you can do, content generated by your user. So it's something that also works. We don't see that a lot, but this kind of testimonial or partnership, we can say like that, because your clients are talking about how good you are. So it's something also that is very powerful. So this way, I've seen with our client a very, very, very good performance lately to use some of their clients talking about their product and doing like this kind of partnership. UGC content that's working really well lately.
Got it. So again, to recap, you're saying 4 kinds of thought leader ads. One would be product releases, major product updates. You can write that down. That would be interesting for a lot of your audience in terms of your core product capabilities. A certain mix of maybe product stories, personal stories or company building related stories or something like that would also help give some personality to your sort of the CXOs in the company. The third piece that you mentioned is user-generated content in terms of a user talking about their challenges and how this product kind of helped them solve that challenge, right? So these were some of the sort of use cases that you mentioned in terms of the various ways in which thought leader ads could be used. Again, in the larger theme of mapping various content assets to various stages in the buyer journey, right? I think this itself is like a sort of golden playbook that you have shared with us today. Just moving on, Kamal, if you had to kind of talk about, let's say there are different sort of bidding strategies and different, in addition to targeting and content, next comes like the objectives and the bidding strategies, right? Like what objectives should you use? Should you use reach, engagement? Should you use website actions or lead gen sort of campaign? So how do you really think about that entire mix of objectives that work best as well as bidding strategies to use?
Yes, very interesting topic. Regarding the campaign objective, to summarize, for us, for example, we have seen that following the recommendation of LinkedIn is not really working. So, for example, the conversion objective, if you don't have like maybe 100 conversion a month, you won't have any business with that. It won't work. So we have tested so many times the conversion objective versus the website visit objective. If you want to do, if your goal is to get a conversion on a landing page, okay? So testing both, we have seen that the website visit you pay less, the cost per click, and it's performing much better than the conversion objective. So I can say with confidence, never used the conversion objective. You can do a test. We did so many tests and it never worked, never outperformed the website visit. Okay, no, maybe something that is really important for B2B marketer advertisers, the brand awareness. People want to know, I want to do the mention brand awareness, what kind of objective I want to use. I would say that you will have to test the brand awareness objective versus the website visit, because sometimes, again, website visit show that we have clicks for less cost per click, for less than the brand awareness, and a similar reach. So that's something also that can be also interesting to test, because it's not always as simple as it sounds, that okay, you have to do brand awareness objective because you want to have to maximize your reach. So sometimes website visit works better than brand awareness. So I would always test both. Engagement, I mean, it's something that we don't really use. The only way that we use that is when we want to get social proof on a post before to move this post for to expand the reach on this post with website visit. We do some social proof like that. People will see that there is a lot of engagement, but really you pay for a lot of different clicks. You will pay lower, but you will pay for people that likes, comment, share, or click on the company page. That's not really something interesting for us. We prefer brand awareness if we are looking for reach. engagement is not something that we use a lot. Always for demand gen or brand awareness, we use brand awareness or website visit, but engagement objective, we don't really use that. And also for videos, it will depend, but normally a video will have better result with brand awareness because much more people will see your video, and so you will get a bigger retargeting audience because you will have less frequency but a better reach. So normally when we do some video ads for brand awareness management, we use the brand awareness objective and not the click because it's not working really well. But I would say you always have to test again. So it depends. It's not like a very straight answer, but I would always play with website visit for all this campaign objective. And regarding lead gen form, I mean, doing some lead gen form, what is the A/B test that you can do with lead form is a landing page conversion, so website visit. So normally we see that landing page lead gen form have a better conversion rate because of course it's a seamless process. You don't have to wait to open another page, to wait landing page. So normally the user tend to convert easier with the lead gen form. We have seen that we have 30 or 40% more leads, but it's not always the case. So there is a disclaimer here that I would again say test it, because during a time we were always like saying, okay, we're gonna do lead gen form. We don't want to test anymore landing page because the results were so outstanding that we say, okay, let's forget about your landing page. LinkedIn ads is only for lead gen form. And by some coincidences, we did some landing page website visit campaign for a specific client, and we have seen that the landing page got better results. Had better results than the lead gen form. And so since this day, we, depending on what kind of client we have, and also depending on the landing page that they have, there is something that look good also and is birding in an effective way. We want to test both. So we don't always recommend, like before, 100% only lead gen form. No, there is way also that you can have a better conversion rate with lead gen, with a landing page and website visit objective. And regarding your question, Praveen, about the bidding strategy, it's very simple here. Cost cap. I don't recommend this type of bidding because we have tested any time that we have tested cost cap against manual bidding. For our clients, manual bidding perform much better. So I don't recommend this one. Maximum delivery is a default option, and for us it's a no-go. Also, it's not something that we recommend. It's automated bidding run by leaning. So you are bidding by impression over clicks with maximum delivery. And only if you have like a very high CTR, like more than a click-through rate than more than 1%, okay, you can do that. You can use maximum delivery. You will have, it will be maybe more interesting. You will have CPC that is lower. But also, unlike you have a very, very high CTR, it won't be interesting for you to do that. If you are in the average, like 0.6, 0.7, 0.8 until 1%, always use manual bidding and bid with this way, because that will be the most cost effective. So cost cap and maximum delivery, okay, if you have a very high CTR, you can use that. Cost cap, forget about that, it won't work. And manual bidding, if you do manual bidding, the standard start tactic is to bid low to get the cheapest click. But there is a trick here. If your audience is broad, the budget will prioritize the cheapest audience, the cheapest segment. So you remember what we say in the first question?
Yeah.
When you're audience. So don't forget that, because there is a trick also. Normally, everyone will gonna say, okay, you have to start in the low range, because you don't have to pay something more for the same user. But that's not true, because if you start in the lowest range, you will show your ads to the lowest segment. So if it works, start like that. If it works, fine. But sometimes if it doesn't work, people say, okay, maybe it's my audience that is not really good, or maybe my ads are not working. No, the first thing that you have to do is to increase your CPC, because maybe the leads quality is maybe due to the lowest CPC that you have with the manual bidding. So that's something that can be also interesting to test, and not always go for the lowest CPC.
Got it. So on cost cap, right? Whenever I speak to customer people at LinkedIn, they say that cost cap is like the next iteration of manual bidding. It should definitely outperform manual bidding, is generally the advice that I've got. But in your experience, that has not been the case.
Yes, each one has his own experience. In our experience, it doesn't work. We have seen that if the CPC and the CPM costs are very high, you can use that to generate traffic without going over budget. But that's the only way that I see that is useful, the cost cap. But in our case, again, always test. So I would recommend to the people that say, okay, cost cap is much better to test versus manual bidding. And myself also, I would have to do test again, because I said that today, but maybe the next week I will do test again, and that will show me that I'm maybe wrong. But until now, 100% of the case of our clients, manual bidding is working much better than cost cap.
Got it. Now, so ballpark, you're saying cost cap is a no-go. Maximum delivery only if you already have very high CTRs, then it probably makes sense. 1% upwards, then it probably makes sense. You can reach a larger part of your audience. And if you're doing manual bidding, you are saying start with a lower CPC, see how much of your audience you are able to reach, and then progressively increase the CPC so that you're reaching the more premium segments within your audience. So if you keep bidding very low, we should be cognizant that you're actually reaching people that nobody else wants to advertise to within your segment, right? Or very few other people are bidding for. So if you start manual bidding and start bidding 30% of LinkedIn's recommendation, and if your campaign doesn't work, rather than stopping the campaign, what you really want to do is start increasing the CPC so that you're reaching the more sort of sought after sub-segments within your audience, right? And the objectives that you covered as well, we will definitely put transcribe this and put it out on our website. I think there was a lot that you covered there in terms of using website visits as compared to conversions on the website, and again, the brand awareness objectives, and also for video and lead gen forms. So we'll definitely kind of cover that as well. I know we're coming up on time here, Kamal. So if I had to just conclude, right, what would you say are the other common mistakes that you see, like very common mistakes that you see people make on LinkedIn, which probably is causing them causing their campaigns to underperform, right? So what would be some of those other common mistakes that you would want people to avoid?
The most important thing when you set up the campaign is to not enable the audience expansion because you are targeting people outside. So it's like you don't do any targeting. It's totally absurd to do that. And also the audience network. I won't enable both, because when you enable that, the audience network, you are targeting to third-party website. So that's something that can be some random user that also see your ad, because you're not targeting the specific user in his LinkedIn ads feed. You are targeting maybe someone that is at works using the same computer. So I would disable both. So LinkedIn Audience Network, LinkedIn Audience Expansion. I would start with manual bidding. Again, you start with if your audience is quite broad, don't put the lowest range. Start with a little bit more because, of course, you don't want to target the lowest segment. And also, if you have an audience size, an audience to create, try also again what I said before to check some sample size of maybe 10, 20 people with a company page, also to check what are how they are classified the company page, and do some research on specific LinkedIn profile of user of your ideal customer profile. That's something that I would start. And other common mistake that the website objective, don't use conversion. Start with website visit if you are sending someone to a landing page. If you want to do some dimension brand awareness, try brand awareness, but test it also versus website visit. I would say also when you are when you are creating your ads, don't do some don't put like 10 different ads on the same campaign. You won't have any impression. What I see always like a common mistake, people do so many different ads that are the same ads with the different colors. It doesn't work like that. You will have very low impression because LinkedIn, it doesn't show your ads. LinkedIn showing your ads every 48 hours to the same user. So if you have like 10 ads, you won't get impression. Even if you have big budget, it won't work. So maintain the number of ads to four to five maximum. That's something that I would do. And also something that I would say that is a very, very common mistake that we see when we audit account is that you put everything on automated with maximum delivery, and it's with big budget. And a specific time limit, duration of the campaign. No, do daily budget with a low budget to start a daily budget. So even if you have a big budget, a big ad spend, start with something like maybe 25, 30, or 40 maximum dollar a day on a specific campaign, because what you want to do is, if the more money you're gonna put the more LinkedIn gonna spend to different kind of segments. Again, we go back with the segment of your audience. If you don't put so much money, LinkedIn gonna show your ads to a better segment. Because if you want to spend a lot of money every day, LinkedIn what it's gonna do is gonna show your ads to everyone. So also starting with a low budget allow you also to make some adjustment, because you don't know what's gonna work. But another benefits of starting with a low budget. So start with a low budget, even if you are comfortable with that spend. Don't put more than $30 or $40 a day on the specific campaign. And also something that I see to finish with that is when you do the audience segmentation, don't put everything in the same audience. Segment your campaign by audience. Audience one, with the campaign one, you have, for example, job title. Audience two, on the campaign number 2, you have the job function with skill. Audience 3, you are retargeting. Separate each criterias, the primary criterias, job title, job function, skills, in a different campaign. Like that also you can test, because the first thing that you want when you start to do is you want to know which audience is performing better. So you first try these different audiences in different campaign, and don't put everything in the same campaign. I see so many times job title or job function or skills or whatever, and you're ending up with 500,000 people that are nothing with your total addressable market. So that's some tips that I will give to someone who wants to start with LinkedIn.
Got it. I think that is a good place to kind of end the session today. Audience, if there is any question, please do either post it here or comment on the live itself. Kamal would be happy to kind of answer those as well. So Kamal, thanks a lot for your time. I really appreciate it. I do apologize for the technical glitches at my side. due to electricity connectivity issues. I'm sorry about that. But yeah, it was great to have this conversation, Kamal. I personally learned a lot in terms, and there are a bunch of things I need to actually now go and check in my own LinkedIn ad account and ensure that we are implementing the best practices that you have suggested. And I'm sure the audience also took away a lot of points, right? So thanks again. Thanks a lot for your time, and have a great rest of the week.
Thank you very much, Praveen. Thank you all of you who listened to this LinkedIn Live. Happy to answer any question. And again, thanks for having me today, Praveen. It was great, and I had a lot of fun talking with you.
Thank you. All right, everyone. So I'll be ending the stream now. As I said, if you have any questions, feel free to comment on the LinkedIn Live event page, or please directly ping Kamal or myself, and we'd be happy to kind of facilitate how to answer your questions. Thanks again for attending, and look forward to hearing from all of you.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye, guys.
Yep. Bye. I'll just end the stream.